scheduled Monday, January 23rd, 2023 at 6 o'clock. Catherine, we take the roll.
Trustee Sauter.
Here.
Trustee Mahoney. Here. Trustee Coonsey.
Present.
Trustee Britton. Here. Trustee Saviano. Here. Trustee Triber will not be here. And President Lineham.
Here. If you'll all rise with me, yes we are, for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Man, this is the hottest ticket in town. Yeah, I need a motion to build a bigger room. All righty. Okay, we'll take public comment. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to address the board on a public or on any matter, agenda or non-agenda related? Say it? No, seeing none. Okay, that'll take us to our consent agenda. If I could have a motion for that.
I will move to approve the regular village board meeting minutes dated November 7th, 2022, and move to approve the regular village board meeting minutes dated December 5th, 2022. And I will move to approve an amendment to ordinance title 11, Business Regulations, Chapter 116, Alcoholic Beverages, Section 116.08, Offenses by Licensee, and also move to approve warrants list in the amount of $218,226.38 and $372,851.69.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second. Is there any questions or comments from the board? No? Catherine?
Trustee Sauter.
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney.
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey.
Yes.
Trustee Britton.
Yes.
Trustee Saviano.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's going to take us to our regular agenda items, and the first one is an introduction of police officers, so I'm going to turn the floor over to Chief Kruger. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, President Lineham. I'm very excited to be here tonight to be able to introduce to you some of our new staff that we've hired and trained over the last 6 months, as well as, of course, the swearing in of our new Deputy Chief of Police. So I'd like to start first with our 4 officers that we've brought to the village of East Dundee over the last several months. The first, as I call your name, if you could come on up next to me here, and I'm going to call you out by order of appointment date. So if Officer Ryan Fleury can step up. Officer Fleury is a full-time officer, was appointed June 13, 2022. He has a BS in criminal justice from Illinois State University, and had originally grown up in Wheaton. He is married to his wife Crystal and has 2 daughters, and had served in the United States Army. Prior to coming to us in East Dundee, he owned his own construction firm, and he graduated the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy at the College of DuPage in September 23rd of this past year.
Great. Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Then one of our part-time officers, Officer Sarah Donnellan. Sarah was appointed as a part-time police officer for the East Dundee Police Department July 18th of 2022. She has a bachelor's degree from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and a Juris Doctorate and master's from the John Marshall Law School. She had served 2.5 years with the Chicago Police Department and had grown up in Frankfurt, and her significant other, Jim O'Donnell, and her are expecting a little boy April 29th. So we're excited to have Sarah with us and her experience, and also maybe utilize some of her legal skills as well.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Officer Rob Serra. Officer Serra is also another part-time police officer for us, appointed on July 18, 2022. He's working on completing his bachelor's degree, and he has 17 years of previous law enforcement experience with the Cook County Forest Reserve Police, the Roselle Police Department, and the Maple Park Police Department. He was born and raised in Chicago, and lives in Geneva with his wife Lindsay and their 2 children. And Rob was also a 10-year Marine veteran with a combat tour in Iraq in 2003.
Thank you, sir. Welcome to East Dundee.
lastly but not least, Officer Jose Feliciano.
What?
Officer Feliciano was appointed by the Police Department as a full-time police officer September 6th of 2022. He has an Associate's of Science degree, and he served 10 years with the Chicago Police Department, 6 years in the tactical unit, the riot team, and the active shooter team, and the mission team. I don't know if Mom Naomi is here, along with his two daughters, Navia and Nayeli. And he also has another child in college who couldn't be with us, Anaya. And he's excited to be here and be part of our organization.
Ah, welcome.
So with that, I would request your leave for the village clerk to step forward.
Absolutely. For item B,
And
new appointment.
Deputy Chief Joshua Fordyce and his wife Angela. And after the swearing in, I'll let the Deputy Chief introduce all that he has here, because
Great.
there's no way I can do it all. Josh comes to us after serving almost 19 years with this Woodstock Police Department. He was a bachelor's degree from Knox College and a master's degree from the University of Phoenix. He graduated at Northwestern University School of Police Staff and Command in 2017. Again, he's here with his wife Angela and the children, and also Josh had served in the United States Army, National Guard, as well as also had a stint in professional arena football. So I'm very, very excited to have Josh with us and to be part of our organization and to take this role, and very excited for the future and what he's going to bring to the police department and really help us continue to move the organization forward.
Welcome, Chief. Appreciate it.
It's all yours.
I, Joshua S. Fordyce,
I, Joshua S. Fordyce,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the ordinances of the Village of East Dundee,
and the ordinances of the Village of East Dundee,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Deputy Chief of Police
of the office of Deputy Chief of Police
for the Village of East Dundee
for the Village of East
to
Dundee
the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
No, there you go. You want to go ahead while you're
Sure. I can't express to you guys how excited I am to come to the village and get to work, for the opportunity given to me by Chief Kruger, of course. And I'm just really looking forward to the future, getting to know you all. I plan to spend some time in the squad car with you guys. I know that might give you a shrug. I remember being in the squad car and I always wanted to share it, but that's my way of getting to know your office. So looking forward to that as well. With me, I've got my son Merrick, my daughter Ayana back there, that Angela, that's my mom Julie, my stepdad Rich, and then my dad Mark. And then lots of former colleagues and friends. It means a lot to me that they're all here.
Well, welcome to East Dundee. Thank you.
I do want to recognize, too, the fact, I think, that to really show the impact that Deputy Chief Fordyce has made and the positions he's had, is I also do want to welcome the Sheriff of McHenry County. Rob Tadelman is here to be with us, his former Chief of Police, Chief Lee from the Woodstock Police Department, and former colleague, the Chief of Police of Pingree Grove, Jeff Parsons, is here as well. So I think that really demonstrates the quality and the character of this very competitive process that I think we got a tremendous person to fill this role.
Great. Thank you,
Would you like a
gentlemen.
picture with your family?
You want to do it out there?
Quick, this is a big deal.
Jump in there.
Awesome. Who's proud of your dad? Multiple seasons.
And then lastly, I just want to thank the multiple members of my staff that came to witness this and to be here and be part of the evening. So
Absolutely.
thank you to
gentlemen.
all our people
Ladies.
too. So thank
We
you.
really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's a good day for East Dundee. So, okay. Now that those, festivities are over, if anybody would like to leave, we will not be offended.
we won't be offended.
It's a little dark,
We'll give you a minute.
so we have more seats, I would say,
Celebrate
no
properly.
problem, but you're welcome to stay. Yes.
Thank you.
Just kidding. Right, I know, that's, I was like, oh shoot, oh okay. Right, I know. I'm like, for once, we don't have any.
Yeah, I won't. He's walking around. Yesterday that he went to academy. Just casually going, where's your mind?
Suddenly we got.
Yes, I got you, girl.
Okay, so now I've got to kind of get that.
Thanks for doing that, because I got a lot coming up in my life.
And that's the thing, I'm like,
Yeah,
I still want to know these details.
really good show.
And I just said I love how many are veterans,
Yeah.
which is just very cool.
Yeah.
He was taking care of the chairs. No camera. Totally not having stuff.
It was a police yard, so that's.
Yeah, because they did.
I was like,
Well, I had a kid in college too. I was like, oh, yeah. So I wanted to ask you if you know this guitar. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, yes.
And
what
so
are the odds? He's like, oh, yeah.
well, now we have an empty house.
All right. Okay, so we need to wait for the chief to come back in? No? Okay, well, we're going to continue on then. Our next item on the agenda will be a demonstration from Avazar Solutions.
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. See, I already checked it off. I'm sorry. Discussion for St. Patty's Day. Eileen, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
exist, Eileen.
No way.
Green, is that?
No, it's...
Okay, I don't even know what year this is. What is this?
Oh,
No, I mean, what year parade? I'm not sure. But,
oh,
right, we'll have
wow.
to figure that out.
Well.
We'll have to figure that out. So, hi everybody, how are y'all doing? Looking forward to working with everybody again. I've already met Franco. Franco, put down your phone and focus, man. I'm talking. But yeah, so I think you guys have everything. I still need to get you the insurance. We're going to do the same, obviously, the same as we always have. The fireworks will be the following weekend. Have those applications in. So I still need to get you the insurance. I'll get you a copy of the letter to the, not the guests, the residents. How about that? What if I give it to the residents, not the guests? Very good, good. So we're going to take the 5K and we're going to run it on that street again. We already have 120 people signed up for the 5K. So it's, yeah. And so I think what they're going to do is they're going to do the certification this year so that they can have it certified. Because a lot, obviously we're going to get a lot more people once it's certified, so we'll go from there. I've already talked to Chief once, so I'm sure he's going to be stalking me to make sure I do everything right and whatever else he needs. And then he and I are both going to stalk Phil, who's not going to be happy. So anyway, whatever you guys need, please let me know. And I am thrilled to be doing it again, and I'm looking forward to it all.
Appreciate it. So
If you guys have friends who want to put something in the parade, like that'll be like a fun neighborhood thing, that'd be awesome. We're looking for a little bit more kitschy and a little bit more hometown, so we would love that.
So the route's going to be the same as it always has?
Same as it ever was.
Start up by the bricks and
Yep.
end up at Jackson? Great.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. So.
Great.
All right,
I'm looking
let's-
forward to it.
All right,
Sounds
thank you
great.
guys
Be
very
working
much.
with you.
Looking forward to working with y'all again, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks,
I gotta
Ann.
go across town and tell them.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys very
Thank you.
much.
Thanks, Ann. Okay. Now will be a demonstration from our friends at Azavar. Do we have,
Thank you, President Lyman.
no problem.
Lyman or Lyman?
Line.
Lyman. Thank you. I want to make sure I have that correct. Trustees, Administrator Storley, I don't know if Director Martin's here tonight. I don't see her. Residents, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having us. We're going to give you a very brief presentation. Administrator Storley, is there any introduction you'd like to provide, or would you like us to just dive in?
We had a little preview of this discussion last month. We have two representatives from the company here to give us a brief presentation about the capabilities of the software that they have that's for tax auditing and reporting. And feel free to ask any questions as they come up, and now I'll pass it back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Administrator Storley. And what we're here, and thank you everyone from East Dundee for having us this evening. Some of you may know us. We've been working with the village since 2016. And we're here tonight to discuss a total revenue management solution that aligns with that is here to support the village and align with the village's strategic goals, especially in delivering really quality and exceptional services at value. And as we saw tonight, there's certainly more services coming on board, more police officers, certainly a lot more folks in the community are coming out and looking for those services. So we want to help support the village and the staff in being able to deliver that. And what we're talking about is the relationship you may be familiar with between Azavar and East Dundee is a contingent fee relationship or a performance-based relationship. And what we're talking about today is providing East Dundee the entire gamut of services under which Azavar provides, which will bring revenue back to East Dundee. It will increase existing revenue sources that are already on the books, the ordinance compliance and enforcement. We'll be able to make business working with East Dundee easier and residents working with the village easier through digital channels to pay taxes and fees, business licenses, anything from some of the new street taxes, the new vehicle parking tax, etc. We provide entire, complete taxpayer education solutions and have a 24/7, 365 customer service staff that works on behalf of the village of East Dundee. And then we have attorneys, expert staff on our team to support the village attorney, the village's staff, and you as elected officials in making decisions as we move forward and present different ideas on how to improve ordinances, improve revenues that are existing. And these objectives, what the services that Azavar provides, align exactly as I go through, and I'm going to give you a few brief examples, with the village's strategic goals, a livable, well-known, walkable community. We're going to be able to help with that in terms of vacancies, foreclosures, short-term rentals, which is important when you talk about code enforcement. Financial stability and sustainability. We're going to look at how we're going to improve the dollars that come to the village and ensure those dollars continue to come to the village and that all taxpayers and businesses are compliant. Making those improvements using sustainable technology. Our platform, Local Gov, you'll hear a lot, which provides, as Administrator Storley mentioned, reporting, auditing, providing, highlighting red flags to village staff, our staff and analysts, to then go and work with those taxpayers or fee payers. And of course, all of that improves economic development because it provides the village additional information into how the health of its business community is doing. And finally, this is very important to supporting staff as we move into the 21st century, to making sure that they have all the tools available so that they can focus on delivering those services, not collecting the monies required to deliver those services. And so we work with over 1,000 governments, many along the Fox River and I-30, the Illinois Route 30 corridor. And I'm going to skip that. And I'm going to give you 3 examples that I put together for tonight. 3 examples in looking at existing revenues in the village of East Dundee. And so ASAVAR has discussed a way to provide these services to the village as a total revenue management solution, is presenting that here and has discussed that with Village Administrator Storley. But first is we look at the village's existing sales and occupation taxes. First, we'll be able to make existing improvements. We've shown improvements in the past in 2016 and 17, and we can continue to make those on a per annum basis to the tune of approximately $120,000 a year, in addition to what the village is currently collecting. And that would be done not on a contingent fee basis, on a fixed fee basis, where the village has full access to all the entire ASAVAR revenue arsenal, and ASAVAR is actually acting as a revenue department on behalf of the village and working with the village staff and with you. And we'll provide insights and analytics to that. Tom's going to help show those in just a moment. And certainly one area, one sales and occupation tax that I understand has been challenging this year is currently budgeted at $250,000. ASAVAR has administered that tax for other communities, and we'll be able to administer that and optimize it for the village of East Dundee so that you're getting that $250,000 per year that's budgeted, if not more. Utility taxes. So there are currently 2 utilities. ASAVAR has settled and worked with dozens of utilities across the country, all the regulated and unregulated, deregulated utilities in Illinois, to deliver settlements and additional collections to the village in the past for over $300,000 to East Dundee. In our review currently of money still due to East Dundee by large utilities that are serving East Dundee, there's approximately $50,000 or more per year. So we've made sure to put in conservative numbers to set reasonable expectations with you or for you. And so in doing that, we're going to go and we've uncovered and we're going to collect past due taxes. And we do that in partnership with our legal partners, Cozen O'Connor, which is a nationwide law firm that we've been working with for the past 15 years to collect these taxes and correct these taxes. We just completed in the lame duck session a new piece of legislation with ComEd, Ameren, Comcast, NICOR that will also improve reporting to the village. It will add some cost, which ASAVAR is suggesting it will absorb in terms of providing data and moving data back and forth with utilities, so that the utilities will have better information on village annexations, village developments, new electric, new gas, new water, new cable, new streaming, so that they can make sure that those taxes are collected 100% and remitted immediately to the village. Third, so when we look at revenue, we look at employer identification numbers for businesses, we look at the utility and deregulation roles and the rights of way, and then we also look at properties, we look at property ID numbers, PINs. If we look at PINs in the existing village ordinances, the village is losing out on approximately $150,000 a year in revenue, and all these are based on village ordinances, but I wanted to highlight it here that the village has existing short-term rental-related compliance, vacancy-related compliance, issues that would generate, and these monies come from banks and the short-term rental online management platforms, Airbnb, et cetera, that would come to the village, and we estimate these additional revenues, if better managed, and if we go to those taxpayers, better educate them, give them better tools, it makes it easier to work with and remit those and remit those taxes and fees to the village, approximately $150,000 plus a year. And Tom, while you're popping up insights and analytics very briefly, just to give the board a view into one of, you know, this keyboard. Okay, gotcha. You can, I'll move this.
Thank you.
And while Tom is popping this up so you can see some of the tools that will be available to the board and to staff, our 360-degree total revenue management cloud focuses on digitizing revenues for taxpayers, residents, and businesses in the village, and providing that technology appropriately. And that's what we've presented to you here and to Village Administrator Storley. Best practice ordinances. So, for example, I mentioned short-term rentals and vacancies. Many of your neighbors in Kane County and most in Cook collect and receive those fees or taxes that I had mentioned in the $150,000 plus concept or estimate, and those would require some ordinance improvements, which we would deliver to the village and work with the village attorney and village staff to make changes, improve, and then administer or execute on. We work with taxpayers to educate them. We report, and Tom's going to pull up the reporting here for you in just a moment, and provide reporting tools, and then we continuously monitor and manage all of these revenues for the village and report them to the village on a monthly basis. While Tom is pulling up
We're trying to.
Thank goodness Tom's eyes are better than mine. But while we're waiting for Tom to pull that up, does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Go ahead.
You mentioned these dollar amounts that you're planning on increasing. Any of those dollar amounts, would they come in the form of, you mentioned some code enforcement type ideas, would any of these dollars come in the form of residents paying fines for non-compliance to ordinances or something to that effect?
No, not in those estimates. Those are based on fees or taxes that are already on the books.
Okay. All right.
But there certainly are likely, to be found that there are compliance issues, and we'll bring those to the attention of you and the professional staff, and then we can move forward based on your direction from there.
So are you proposing that you would be like a collection agency as well for us?
Our job is to make sure it continues coming in, and while we're doing that, we look for anomalies, we correct anomalies. And if there's any collection, the benefit to administering the tax means that you can notify the taxpayer fee payer at that time of anomalies. Thus, this legislation that we've recently worked out with the utilities, so that we're passing data back and forth on address changes, new development, annexations. For years, municipalities have been sending annexation agreements to utilities. They throw them in the trash because they can't relate them to a customer. And so what this legislation does is allows us to work in villages and communities, and we built the technology to support that, to work with the utility to pass this data to and fro from the utility to the municipality, from the municipality to the utility, so that those issues get dealt with right then and there.
Isn't it incumbent upon them to do that for us anyway? I mean, beyond delinquencies, any new revenues that would be uncovered or, discovered, if you will, should be already known to us. So I guess what I'm wondering is,
where do you come in to get that? I mean, is it just a conduit from the utilities to us? Because I would think that the way the utilities are dealing with every municipality in the state, so this is not new for them as far as communication between them and us. Where is as of our making that easier and more profitable for us? I guess that's the question.
Well, we don't always think, President, in terms of profits, but we think in terms of excess fund balances. But
Well, okay.
it's I'm often realigned on that topic because I'll mention profits, but from a governmental perspective, we don't think it's profits. We want to deliver excess fund revenues to you. And so, we would not be around and working with over 350, 400 communities in Illinois if utilities didn't make these errors. Their business is delivering and generating electricity or gas or cable or telecommunications. Their business is not paying taxes. They get paid a fee that they collect to collect those taxes and remit them to you. Do they get them right? No. A lot falls through the cracks. And that's why we're here, is to make sure things don't fall through the cracks. And we've identified from 2016 and now in partnership with our law firm, Cozen O'Connor, company utilities that still owe East Dundee funds. And that's not unusual. It's not unusual. All of the communities in the area have said it. We talked to them. I can give you a number of names. And I think Village Administrator Storley is very familiar with some of them, including Evanston, where the administrator was previously. And you would think that in a static community like Evanston, where the boundaries are fixed, and there's no new development out in the lakefront, so it's north, south, and west. Those boundaries have been fixed for a pretty long time. That their area is 50 years old because no one's looked at this for 50 years. And then it takes maintenance in terms of the utilities want to make sure that they're not liable going forward. They want to get it right, but they don't have a mechanism for getting it right. Because they do communicate with villages, and they get 280 different answers in their territory, if they get any answers at all. Because this is not usually priority of staff. Village is getting a remittance every month of, say, from ComEd, $50,000 to $100,000, from NICOR, $25,000 to $50,000, depending upon the season, time of year. And the village believes that those taxpayers are acting in good faith to deliver those remittances, file and deliver those remittances correctly. And indeed, most instances they are. But over time, errors do occur. Same with the Illinois Department of Revenue. So the sales and occupation tax, a portion of that is based upon errors we've seen in this area and errors we've corrected in the past for East Dundee. Many businesses will start up and maybe they'll be on the edge of town and they'll report a different zip code. And the Department of Revenue, like everyone else, uses Pitney Bowes and USPS databases, and the United States Postal Service is very good at getting it wrong. So they're not using village data. That's what that new utility statute does, is work to get village data in the hands, municipal data in the hands of utilities.
Do you find that this is something that smaller villages use because they have smaller staff, so it's like an extra just incentive to get help because we can't do as much on our own because of a small workforce?
Exactly, trustee.
Okay.
And it's exactly why we're proposing we can deliver the entire ass of our platform, and what I simplify it by saying our revenue department. We have revenue, their job's to collect, but their job's to also ensure compliance, look back. It's to look forward, provide you projections for budget, forecasts, also alert you to future issues that may occur. And that's exactly what we're proposing to do.
Jason, it's coming up.
Let it load.
Okay.
Did I answer your question, trustee? Did I answer?
So if I'm to understand you, what you're saying is, as far as utilities, is that this is money that the utilities already collected from residents.
No, most cases not.
So then, if you find money that's owed to us, who's going to pay that?
Utility.
The utility.
are they gonna go back to the residents then and say, well, we've screwed up and we actually owe more taxes, so we're sending you a bill for that?
Under our settlement agreements in the past, they have not. That's certainly an avenue available to them. That's an avenue available to anyone, any taxpayer, any business. But it becomes very difficult to do that because these are their customers, and if we're forgetting the 7-Eleven as well on the sales tax rolls, and the Department of Revenue had coded them, had not coded them properly to East Dundee, had coded them unincorporated, for example. That would they're not going to go back to their customers and get 8 to 10% sales tax based on where it is in the village for that hot dog. It is under statute and under the Constitution in Illinois. It's the business responsibility. But that's what we're proposing here. Is that's your decision. We'll bring that information to staff and to you to make that final decision. That's up to you. Under our prior agreement, that's something that the village handed to us. So what we're proposing to take over is all the work and provide all the resources, and all the decision making stays in the village's hands. Because if we may have a finding, for example, on future revenues, that may have a policy implication that you want to reassess. I know streaming taxes, the vehicle parking tax are two new sources of revenue. We believe the streaming tax is underreported based on our data. And therefore the village is not getting as much as it should. But the village has about 1,500 household units, roughly, rounding about 1,500. Does anyone disagree with my numbers? So, we should see cable franchise fees going up 5% a year, but they're not. So conversely, we should see streaming revenues going up 5% a year and starting at a higher base than where they're at. And in many communities, we manage the streaming tax through local gov, and we see those types of revenues. So we're basing that on what taxpayers were seeing remit for and file remit for the village, as well as taxpayers. It is a policy issue because it's technology. There's been a technological shift, and not all those taxpayers know. Disney Plus doesn't know that East Dundee has a streaming tax. I believe it probably does, because Administrator Storley and Director Martin have notified them. Whether they're remitting it or remitting it fully are two different questions. So what Tom's showing you is one of the reporting tools and analysis tools that we use and would be making available to all you and the village staff for sales and different use taxes in the village. And this is just a demo. And just scroll down real quick, because I know we're only allotted 10 minutes, and I think I'm at 15. 15, yeah. So I appreciate the questions. I want to make sure we have a chance to address them all. And so what Tom is showing here, which I think which we found economic development directors, community planning and development directors have used even more, which would be, new resources for the village to support those activities are going to be important, because a lot of those I think are done in the village administrator's office. And especially if you're looking at if there's any tax rebate agreements or tax abatement agreements, those would be shown in here. So you can see what impact it's actually having and what impact it will have on your revenues when those, say, tax abatement or tax rebate agreements come due or completed.
It also shows depicted each business and each account number and address and what they do monthly to the people that are on the reciprocal agreement within the village. So you have a line of sight to that as well. The other tab, very quickly to show you, so the two tabs that are important are the businesses tab as well as the industry tab. So that even gets into more granular detail by SIC code, which is the way that the Illinois Department of Revenue looks at all the different industry segments. So it'll give you your top 10 to revenue, your top 10 industry segments. You can even break down by different industry segments where they are year over year. You can look at a specific business to have discussions with them. Year-over-year industry change by month, even more granular. And then at the bottom, by SIC code, it'll give you, each SIC code and what it does every month, as well as the businesses that are within a SIC code. So it's very granular detail to give you line of sight, especially at budget times.
And unleashing tools, software tools like this is very helpful to government, local government especially. But as Trustee Saviano mentioned, it takes up staff time. And so what we're also committing here is all of ASVAR's expertise and knowledge and staff to bring these to the staffs and to your attention on a regular basis, weekly or monthly. We're suggesting no more than monthly, but we come up with that cadence based upon your feedback and staff's feedback.
So how long would it be before, if we started doing this, that we would see the historical data showing we collected this much for this tax, and now we're seeing, as far as identifying more, and we get reporting on that?
Mm-hmm. We'll start off with 36 months data at least, here on sales tax and on the local taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be able to see that within the first 9 to 12 months.
Right.
At the most.
Okay.
If not sooner.
And there would be some significant bumps because there are some settlements due to the village, some settlement monies due to the village as part of more global settlements with some of the utility providers in the state.
So we'd have visibility on ones that aren't related to ASVAR and ones that you could kind of claim credit for, of like, here's increased ones that other villages didn't see. Yeah.
Right. But we're not compensated on claiming credit or not claiming credit.
Right.
We're incented by you and the staff succeed. And we're incented by that under our other model, but I think it might address a concern that's been raised by the village in the past. Did that address all your questions?
One last question. Are your data sources different than ours then? Like you're mining for data in different public databases and that's where the value comes? Is it stuff that's off of our radar?
Yes, great question. Yes, we are. We're bringing together data from multiple databases as well as databases that we have to pay for. And thank you to Clerk Deal for helping us get set up at the beginning of the meeting. Does the village attorney have any questions?
Thank you.
No? Any more questions? Administrator Storley, is there anything we missed?
I think you covered everything. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be here through the rest of the meeting, so we're glad to answer questions.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
We'll continue moving on then with item E, if we could have a motion.
I'll move to accept the May 1st, 2021 through April 30th, 2022 annual comprehensive financial report for the Village and Police Pension Fund and place it on file.
Second.
Sure, we have a representative here from our auditing firm, Lauterbach & Amon, who's going to give us a synopsis of this year's audit, and I'm very happy that we completed it in what I would consider to be a reasonable amount of time, because it's the second one we've had to do in, I think, 6 months, because the last one was fairly delayed due to circumstances beyond previous personnel's control. So thank you for coming back again so soon, and we're very glad that we were able to get this done in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, my name is Monica Damsky. I'm a principal at Lauterbach & Amon. Thank you for having me today, and yes, congratulations to Brandis and the entire team. We did get this one turned around a lot quicker than last time. Again, we got all of our requests in a reasonable amount of time. It was a pleasure to work with everybody, so just start with that. Thank you. I'm just going to go over 3 pieces of required communications tonight in regards to your 4/30/22 audit. The first thing I'm going to start with, which might not be in the board packet, is the SAS 114 letter that's addressed to the board. The primary purpose of that letter is to convey whether or not we had any disagreements or difficulties working with management this year. So I'm happy to report tonight that we did not have any, and that's exactly what you'll find in that letter. Next, I'm going to go over the annual financial report itself quickly. So once again, the village did receive a certificate of achievement. You'll see that on page 10 of your audit report, so it kind of looks like that. This is issued by the government's Finance Officers Association and represents the highest level of assurance that a government entity can receive. There's a lot of additional time and burden placed on staff to get this award, a lot of statistical sections. So again, congratulations to the village on receiving that this year. And again, we'll be working with everybody to apply for it again next year. On page 13 of the audit report is your independent auditor's report. So that it's, in that letter, it states that it's management's responsibility to prepare the financial statements, and it's ours as the auditors to provide you an opinion. So this year, once again, the village did receive an unmodified opinion. That is the highest level of opinion we can give. It means that the numbers are materially correct, and that we didn't find any internal control deficiencies to report. Following that, on page 17 is the management discussion and analysis. If there's anything we suggest the board read out of our 180-some page report, it's that. It gives you a very high-level overview of everything that happened within the fiscal year. Again, some colder nights, again, so if you're bored on the weekend, definitely suggest that. Next, I'm going to go over the fund balance financial statement. So ultimately, this is what the village budgets for on an annual basis. If you wanted to turn to page 38, if not, that's fine. I'm just going to go over a few of the bigger funds. So for example, the general fund had excess revenues over expenses of $2.4 million this year. So again, very healthy fund balance, ending of so it's $12.8 million this year. No transfers in and out, so your change in your general fund was the $2.4 million. Prairie Lakes TIF, same thing. Positive of $1.2 million, ending fund balance of $8.4, and again, that's going to list all your different funds within the fiscal year. Next, I'm just going to go to your water fund. So the water and sewer fund change in that position this year was $722,000 again, so on a positive note, with an ending net position of $16.7 million. Any questions on numbers? Okay. Towards the end of the financial, after that, you'll find the notes of the financial statements, very detailed overview of all those numbers. I'm not going to get into that. And in the back, you'll see all your budget to actual reports, which again is what the village budgeted for, so you can have a nice detailed explanation of what you spent and what you budgeted for. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions? All right, last but not least is the management letter. No new comments this year, so again, congratulations to everybody. The biggest new recommendation for next year is going to be GASB 87, which is leases, so we're just going to work directly with Brandis to collect all the leases that the village is a part of, because it's going to be a disclosure next year, and if we have to do adjusting entry again, we'll work with her on that next year. Okay. All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very
much. We're also accepting the police pension audit this evening, but we do not have a representative here tonight to discuss that because we discussed that back in December.
We did. Okay, good. Thank you.
Is that a motion?
It's in the motion.
That was there to place it on file, so Kevin. Or did anybody have any questions? No?
Trustee Sauter,
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney,
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey,
Yes.
Trustee Britton,
Yes.
Trustee Saviano.
Yes.
Okay, great. That'll take us to item F, if we could have a motion.
Make a motion to approve an ordinance granting a special use permit for outside vehicle and equipment parking and storage for the property located at 590 Healy, East Dundee, Illinois 60118, pin 0130-300-009-0000, located in the M1 Manufacturing District.
Second.
Second, great. Erica, can you run us through this one really quickly?
Sure. So this item first appeared on the agenda at our first meeting in December, and the board approved parking for the north end of the property, but not the south. And then at the second board meeting in December, there was a reconsideration motion that was approved to place this item back on the agenda to be reconsidered this evening. The applicant is here. The reconsideration was requested because the applicant is doing some improvements that require the use of this southern portion as a staging area. So He can answer any additional questions if you have them. That's pretty much it.
So the motion on the table covers what we discussed, that is temporary use of that parking?
So the village attorney can correct me if I'm wrong, but since the north portion has already been approved for 10 years and then can be reapplied for thereafter, what is on the agenda this evening to be approved
So-
or not approved is...
Yeah, it's the south portion will automatically expire after 1 year.
Okay.
For the future of Hines Road extension. Petitioner can reapply at that time.
Okay. I see that now, I'm sorry.
It's okay, we put the ordinance that you originally passed on, and then the ordinance we would be passing tonight. That's the reconsideration.
Thank you.
And was that 1 year allowance for the south half contingent upon the completion of Hines within that year, Hines Road?
It just says the
I mean, in
special.
the event that the village just decided to, weren't able to get to it, where does it leave it?
Yeah, it just says it automatically expires 1 year.
Okay. Good enough. All right. Does anybody have any other questions?
On this map, there's a line north of Route 72. What does that line represent? It looks to be talking about this line right here. Do we know what that means?
We could ask the applicant. The line...
I believe it's a dimension line that is missing
Yeah.
the dimension on there.
That's what it looks
showing
like to
the
me.
overall width of the...
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess what I'd like to say to the fellow board members is I would think that we should, if we're going to grant this 1 year sunset, fine, but I think we should set a boundary north of Route 72 that they can't go south of that boundary line, so that they're not right up against Route 72 with these trucks. And maybe it's 200 feet or something to that effect, but just to push them back so they're not right on top of Route 72.
Currently, the property has a pretty steep embankment, and so do you have a guesstimate of the distance between where the truck parking stops and where the Route 70?
I believe right now... I'm sorry, yeah. Sorry about that. I believe it's about 75 to 80 feet currently right now. We don't have any plans of parking any trucks along that
Right.
frontage on 72. So
wouldn't
pretty
be
much our
able to.
current layout is exactly what we plan to use for that temporary staging.
Okay. Yeah, so if you haven't had a chance to drive by it, there's, an embankment, there's a landscape buffer of some pretty dense trees that when they're, leafed out, you wouldn't be able to see the trucks behind it from the front, but you would be able to from the side. And then the parking starts, so 75, 80 feet. But if, you wanted to go 200 feet, certainly could implement that.
Okay. I mean, would 200 feet bother you?
There's a current configuration out there right now. It might impact our ability to get trucks from the north side fully staged on that south side. I could do some, due diligence on that. But as I mentioned, there are no plans, and we are not planning on parking any trucks directly off of that 72 or the furthest south portion. That's just, our layout is not planned for that.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't understand. You're saying you don't have plans to go beyond where you are right now? is what you're
Correct.
saying.
That's correct.
Right. And right now, how far are you from Route 72?
I want to say approximately 75, 80 feet.
Yeah.
For a visual that looks like that, like there are a lot of trees. Kind of hard to see past.
Those are the deciduous trees, though.
So yeah, not always.
So you're gonna
Not in the winter, I guess.
right. You might see a little bit more, but
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I will not move to add that at this point. It's only 1 year. So,
I would ask, though, that any changes that come about
with the use of that southern lot, come to us before you're implementing anything.
Fair enough. No problem.
I mean, you guys have plans to, you do have plans to redevelop the southern lot.
Absolutely, 100%.
And what are you thinking?
You guys will actually, we're planning on right now coming in with our mass grading and utility plan right now to start some of the stormwater improvements. That should be forthcoming here within the next few weeks. Got my consultant working on that. We're fully expecting and planning to have Hines Road in before the end of this year, this construction season. And by that time, my hope is that grading will be pretty much close to being complete. And, you know, we're going to be looking to then start that development process for the south side.
But I mean, what are you planning on putting there, I guess is what I'm asking.
Oh, industrial buildings.
Industrial buildings. All right.
Yeah, we have some concept drawings already on that I'd be happy to provide as well, so folks can see that.
Okay. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Anything else? Anybody?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, do we need to make a motion to, I guess we already made the motion to approve the ordinance, okay.
To amend the motion, you said?
The motion on the table, as I understand it, is to approve the ordinance that's the second draft in your packet.
Right, which is the same as what we did, except now it's including this 1-year sunset on the south portion rather than denying it altogether.
Correct.
Okey dokey.
Is there anything else? Anybody? No?
Not for me.
Catherine?
Trustee Sauter,
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney,
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey,
Yes.
Trustee Britton,
Yes.
and Trustee Saviano.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And that'll take us to item G, if we could have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve a resolution accepting public improvements related to the Altoffer Hat development.
Second.
Joe, is this basically punch list items?
It is through the village subdivision process, once everything has been built, to go through and formally accept it through the village board by resolution.
May I just add one thing? It also, the resolution allows the bond to be lowered for the work that's been done, so I just want to make sure that the board's on it.
Right, so the bond, what is that, 415?
But it drops to 15% of the original bond.
Okay.
And it's good for 15 months, so if anything goes wrong between now and 15 months,
That will
the
cover it.
bond should cover it.
Okay, good enough. All right. Good. Does anybody have any questions for that? No? Okay, Catherine?
Trustee Sauter,
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney,
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey,
Yes.
Trustee Britton,
Yes.
and Trustee Saviano.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Joe. That'll take us to item H, if we could have a motion.
I'll move to approve an ordinance amending Chapter 116, the Village of East Dundee Code, to add a new Class E-4 liquor license to allow for the sale of both on-premise alcohol sales of all legal alcohol and retail sale of beer, wine, and spirits of 40 proof or less only.
You have a second?
Second.
Great. Okay, this one is this one related to the old Nano's Cafe?
Alianos.
Yeah, it's, the old
Right.
cafe portion of it. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on this one?
I guess I don't have a question. I just, God, we don't have this already on liquor license that we, I'm just surprised, that's all.
We've done quite a few classes, actually.
It's interesting, the evolution of liquor license classes based on the differing business models that we see that continue to evolve. I mean, it's an interesting landscape being in that business and trying to help support those businesses. Previously, they had two separate businesses, two separate liquor licenses with different additional endorsements added onto them. It was, complex, expensive. This still is expensive, but makes it somewhat more affordable to have the liquor license and consolidates all of the activities that they do into one because they're a continuous business now. Even though they have this sort of two separate operating storefronts, they the kitchen for one is in the establishment of the other, and now that it's been opened up to be free-flowing throughout the entire operation, it's really just one operation. So, they had requested for us to review their liquor licenses and to see if there was any way we could facilitate a streamline, and this is what we came up with.
And so right now they have E and E3? Okay. Yes. All right.
I realize it's a little late in the game to ask this, but would it be possible to add endorsements to an existing class so as not to have to create a new class?
We looked at that, but then that would apply to everybody that already has that license, and there may be in situations where that might not be appropriate or desirable.
If they wouldn't use it, it wouldn't really affect them though, correct? I mean, if you
Maybe
had-
maybe they would, and it would affect us.
Oh, well, that's tough. Okay. All right. Okay, just wanted to ask. So, so this is for the cafe portion at Aliano's. Does anybody have any other comments or questions? No? Kathy?
Trustee Sauter,
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney,
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey,
Yes.
Trustee Britton,
Yes.
and Trustee Saviano.
Yes.
Okay, that'll take us to I for a motion.
Make a motion to approve an ordinance increasing the number of Class E4 liquor licenses and reducing the number of Class E and E3 liquor licenses, Aliano's Restaurant and Cafe.
Okay. Second?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is just adding issuing the license that we just talked about. so-
Giveth and we taketh the other ones away.
Essentially, that's what we're doing here, kind of a house cleaning. Does anybody have any questions or anything on it? No? Catherine?
Trustee Sauter,
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney,
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey,
Yes.
Trustee Britton,
Yes.
and Trustee Saviano.
Yes.
Okay, that'll take us to J, the last item of the night. If I could have a motion.
I'll make a motion for approval to publish a request for a proposal RFP for the village-owned property at 406, 408 Barrington Avenue.
Second.
Okay, this is where the old water facility was that we just tore down. Does anybody have any questions? We're just going to go out to the public to see what can come of it. This
Is
is-
there anything on this one, or?
No, I mean, it's pretty comprehensive. Franco did a good job drafting it. He was very thorough in what, the specifications were and how we were going to rate any submissions, and it gives anybody in the public an opportunity to bring forward any idea, and the village board can consider it.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, great.
One question on it. You say that we are desiring multifamily residential units. Would it make sense to say if we prefer condos and townhomes over apartments, if there is a preference, or is this just open the door to any and all?
I think it leaves the door open for any and all. It's the current market is very difficult for condos because at least 50% has to be pre-sold in order for construction to start. So it's been very difficult to get condo projects off the ground, especially if they're on the smaller side, which this would be considered a smaller site for condos, but it doesn't preclude anybody from proposing a condo project.
Got it. Okay.
Any other questions?
So we're going to tell them that we want multifamily, assuming that nobody's going to want to build single family. Is that why we're doing that?
I mean, we can strike multifamily and just put residential, and people can propose single family, but I don't know that we'll get
No. Sure we would.
It's because of its small distance to downtown. It'd be nice to have some density there to help support those downtown businesses. It's a good site for it. Good
It
location
is.
for it, but if it's the desire to have the RFP be broad to allow for potential single family, we could do that too.
So that would require rezoning currently?
Joe, do you know what that zone is right now? I mean, since it was a municipal site to begin with.
I guess it was like an R3.
Yeah, okay. And it's always been that water facility as far as I know.
And R3 doesn't incorporate multifamily.
this.
It would likely have to be rezoned as part of it.
It's 4?
Yeah.
R2 and R3.
Oh, sorry. Oh. Kind of odd.
Yeah, it's inconsistent.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be open to just residential. I
Just
mean,
bring us your ideas.
in case somebody has a concept for just 1 or 2 houses, just because I feel like the neighborhood is going to be wishing it was that, so leaving the opening and that we didn't make it so people couldn't do that.
Okay.
I agree.
Wait, say that again now?
We're
I
saying-
feel like the area around this development
Uh-huh.
probably wants it to be just 1 home or 2 homes. And
Probably.
so leaving it open to that in case somebody brings us that option and we think that's a very good one.
Yeah.
But not making it so that we can't consider apartments, townhomes, or condos.
Right, so just leaving it
Because-
residential is the
Leaving it
requirement.
broad,
Casting
yeah.
a wider net.
Yeah.
All of the adjacent properties right now to that property are all single family.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
No.
Yeah.
Well, the one on the corner is a multi-unit, but
Oh, okay.
Like, there's a couple that are like houses, but they have
Yeah,
two
like
apartments in them.
duplex. Yeah,
two
apartment,
flats.
yeah.
broken up
Yeah.
into more than one unit.
Got it.
You wouldn't
Look
be able to
like
tell that
houses,
from the
though.
outside.
Right.
Yeah.
They look like houses.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, do we need to
Need to amend the,
amend the motion to do that, or can we just give
The
you the direction?
the motion's to publish the RFP. I think staff has the direction, so I don't think you need to amend.
No.
All right.
Out of here.
Good enough.
Okay.
Catherine?
Trustee Sauter,
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney,
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey,
Yes.
Trustee Britton, and Trustee Saviano.
Yes.
Okay. Financial reports are in the packet. Those are the warrants list. Of course, we made the motion on that, but any questions, of course, can go to Brandis or Erica. Village reports. We'll start with Andy.
Let's see. I did notice that the new pedestrian crossing signs went up along the bike trail at some point on like First Street and Second, and they look really nice and add a lot of visibility for walkers and bikers on the trails. So just wanted to point out that looks great. That's it.
Okay. Trish?
So we are going to be doing those hiding the golden rocks around Dundee again, and you can turn it into Dairy Queen for a free dilly bar to promote St. Patrick's Day. So that's going to be happening January 3rd. We're going to be hiding rocks.
Is that
and-
age restricted?
No.
You know,
No, you can go find rocks. And then also, we had our Arts Council meeting last Wednesday and went through mural submissions for the building across from Banditos. And there are some amazing murals. We picked the top 3, and so we're going to be moving forward with the process of interviewing the candidates and stuff. But it's so exciting to see it move forward. That's all.
And with that, you might want to talk to Pete Pearson, the building owner, to talk about maybe covering the windows, because I saw in the renditions of the offerings, they all count for those windows that are open, but if...
All of them know that's an option.
Yeah, I
We've
talked
already
to
talked.
Skip, who operates Great Spirit Hardwoods, and it isn't going to be an issue for them, because it's just lumber leaning up against that window, so if they were to cover it somehow, I don't think it would be a problem, and it might make putting the mural up easier.
Yeah, well, we did talk about that actually, and also, you know, if someone's gonna put wood up, we have to make sure like the moisture getting behind, so there's other factors, but
We need
he
to
did
talk
say
about
that
it.
that's fine if they
Right.
wanna cover it.
He did.
So the artists should know it's an option, if not, when we interview them, we'll make sure they know.
Good.
Cool.
So-
I'm just curious,
No.
can you send out the 3 that you guys
I
selected?
can send it, yeah.
All right.
Scott?
Phil, question for you. The lights downtown right now are green, I guess for Christmas, because Christmas is green. Are we gonna switch them back to white lights at some time, period in time, or what's the plan there?
We discussed that possibility. We thought we'd leave the green up for now, at least through St. Patrick's Day, as someone suggested.
Makes sense.
Decide what to do thereafter. It is a time-consuming effort to
Yeah.
switch out the
I
trees.
would imagine so.
We can certainly do that. between the snow events, if we, a little bit of snow is there, but we can certainly look into discussing that.
I mean, it's not urgent by any means. I was just curious because I guess I didn't know why did we change them to start with, because we had it. All the lights were up, they look great, but then why did we change them to green? Just out of curiosity.
Just a little different.
A little change
more
order,
colors
change
here.
order, yeah.
Red trunks and green canopies, and then blue lights on the street lights. So
It does look nice. I'm not
almost
saying it
all the
doesn't.
colored lights on the actual tree itself, so we just want to try to color things up.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of, there's been a lot of positive feedback about the white lights. A lot of people love them throughout the year, so it would make my heart sad if they, but I understand we also have squirrels, so.
Sounds like there's a preference to go with the white lights then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love your
St. Patrick's
after
Day?
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
sure.
I love having them for St. Patty's. I kind of dig that, but yeah. Sorry.
Well, you already took down the blue lights on the poles, right?
Blue's down.
Yeah,
all
'cause
the
that's part of the
lights are down,
Christmas
and the red
garlands.
trunks are down as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that's lit currently are the green canopies.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's all. Thanks.
I got Kathleen.
No report.
Sarah.
No report.
All right. Kelly.
No report.
No report. Chris.
No report.
Joe.
No report.
Chief.
Just again, thank the board for the opportunity to showcase some of our new staff. And also, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to swear in my new deputy chief. That did some help at the last 4
Yeah.
months.
Yeah, I feel really good about it. I appreciate it. Yeah, good showing. Phil, what you got? Nothing. Franco.
I actually have something.
All right.
All right.
I received 2 applications last week. One for a depot rental for Hoof Meow for June 25th, where they want to host a nonprofit event. They used to have this over in West Dundee, and I believe the place where they had it at closed, so now they want to host it here. It will be forthcoming. Just came on my desk and review it, and when I have more information, will come your way. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. And then kind of a bigger event than that is Aliano's last week proposed a special event for August 5th, basically an all-day thing where they would propose and ask your permission to shut down River Street and have a first annual Italian Fest from Barrington to Railroad, multiple vendors and entertainment. I'm working on that with them and they'll come your way as well.
What kind of a fest?
Italian Fest.
Oh.
Trish, you want to head
I'm
that
so
up?
opposed to
That sounds good.
C.
Andy. Erica.
No report.
No report. I have really nothing other than to say I met with Representative Krishnamurthy last week and was very encouraged with, I'll just say it, I hit him up for some money. Flood control along the Fox River and EPA cleanup monies that might be available. Scott had sent out an email speaking to opportunities that exist along that route, and which I absolutely think we should pursue. This is just another one, and I think what we might be able to do with this is to cut through some of the red tape. So, and it would appear, based on an email that I got today, it was from somebody in his Washington staff, so we might be able to get some federal monies out of this. So, yeah. So, anyway, just want to keep everybody posted on that, and that is all I have. So, we are going into executive session. So, if I could have a motion for that.
I'll move to.
Which one?
There's 4 of them, actually.
The items are.
I got it, I think.
Okay.
I'll move to go close to. I'm sorry. I will move to close this meeting, adjourn this meeting to executive session, close to the public and media under the provisions of the Illinois Open Meetings Act, 5 ILCS 120/2, C21 for the discussion of minutes, C11 for pending litigation, C1 for personnel and legal counsel, and C5 and C6 for acquisition of property and sale of property.
A second.
Get 'em all.
Catherine?
Trustee Sauter,
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney,
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey,
Yes.
Trustee Britton.
Yes.
Trustee Saviano.
Yes.
And President Lineham.
Yes.
Oh, and we will adjourn out of executive session. So, sorry.
Okay, we'll take 5 and appreciate everybody coming.